But thanks for the wild introduction. I consider myself mostly a very chaotic person with a severe ADD problem. And the best part is that at some point in my life, I learned to enjoy it and help and work with excellent teams of people where we complete each other's in the in with our different let's say strong points. So one of my favorite quotes, when one that I have discovered only recently, where were you all my life, Theodore Adorno? Does task of art today is to bring chaos into order. And all these years when I was talking about Schmugel and trying to convince art persons that it was a work of art, where was this? Where was this quote? So yeah, it's mostly about creating chaos into an over organized world, over algorithmified world. Chaos, the way I perceive it, is the manifestation of human activity, and I will dive a bit deeper into it. A bit about myself. I oh yeah, I went a long time by the name of Miss Data. I have a BSc. I have earned a degree in pure mathematics, which was actually the best artistic education a person can ask for in terms of abstraction, precision, and aesthetics. Uh, at least for if you're a conceptual artist. I later, after I have worked a while in the Israeli high tech industry, I really it was too much for me. I quit every time I went to work for another company, from big ones to startups. I could stand only a few months there. I had to run away. I started a master's in mathematics and then realized that my heart is completely into art. And then I discovered the emerging new media art scene. There was an amazing exhibition at the Whitney, still pregnant and relevant to these days. Where, among other things, they were exhibiting computer viruses as artworks, really still relevant. So I opted for new media art. Got into this weird program, great program in Zurich, and Zurich for me was like a foreign exotic land. And thanks to this cultural, it was an extreme cultural clash. And thanks to this cultural clash, that Schmugel came along. And it's a really nice story and anecdote that I really enjoy recounting every time at the end because it really brings the personal with the global. So I landed in Zurich. I think it was in August 2003. It was a Tuesday evening. I got off the train at the Bahnhofstrasse, which is the Zurich's main street. I get out of the train station to the main street, and it is pristine clear. Like my mother would say, one could eat off the ground. I look at it. It looks at me, and I was thinking to myself, I am not going to make it here. And the background was that I took off from Tel Aviv in the midst of August. It was in August and was in the midst of one of the biggest garbage strikes Tel Aviv has known. The cats were having field days on the garbage piles, and there I land in Zurich in the evening. So yeah, it was a very. I spent 9 months, pretty difficult. And I was maintaining my connection to my friends and family in Israel online using it was I think Microsoft chat platform. I don't remember its name anymore. All kinds of chat platforms. And I was wondering, there's all these questions of chaos and order were very present in my life. Again, because of this cultural clash, and I was wondering, what is the role of chaos in society? And the Swiss have this national holiday, something Sachseleute, I don't remember anymore, in the spring. I think it's the only formal time of year where they celebrate chaos. and they have this big parade in the streets, very dirty, everything very wild. But 100 meters behind them were the garbage cleaners, making everything disappear, putting back the order in the street. And it really struck me that wherever there is a live activity, human, organic activity, it creates chaos. And it also rhymes, with the second rule of entropy of thermodynamics. That entropy is in a closed system is bound to grow. And I was wondering what would entropy look like online, and what would chaos look like online, on who are the preservers of order or the creators of order. And the answer was pretty clear already in 2005 that Google were the ones creating order online. And as I was continuing this intellectual exercise, what would chaos look like? So I decided to chaotify Google. So a bit of hacking, a bit of trial and error, a bit of this and that. I managed to pull up Schmoogle. And Schmoogle is, for those who have not heard of it yet, because most of my environment has, of course. Schmoogle is a search engine that returns all of Google's results only in random order. Let's see what something like that looks like. As I here already tried innovation, but let's try art. Oh, live testing. Oh, so you see on the left side, you see Schmoogle's results. On the right side, you see the regular results. You see here starting from position 82. And what Wellesley College art, New York, position 21 artwork, buy online for 41 art, the New York Times, yeah, great. Position 93 is actually pretty interesting. The Art of Manliness, something I've never heard of. Art Fight, Amazon.com, yeah, super not interesting. Assisted with reproductive technology, art. That's another interesting interpretation of art. All kinds of stuff I would never have come up with. What would art look like on Google? Let's. I think it's usually art.com first 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 place. Art Wikipedia. Yeah, art.com. I think for years art has been art.com is the first result. Even if you still have the I'm feeling lucky button, it would always bring you to art.com. And then you have Saatchi Art, and then you have Artsy. Yeah, Fine Art America, Google, lots of kinds of all kinds of, yeah, sort of generic stuff which everyone would get if they would Google art. But on Schmoogle you would get really a mix, and two subsequent Schmoogle searches for art would yield different results. So I got it up online. It didn't look as sleek as it looks today. Let's see what it looked like. Come on. Okay. This is what it looked like. It was a bit, it was punky aesthetics. I was not being discreet. I was not hinting. Where did it go? Oh, okay, where? And guess what I have to do in order to find Schmoogle images? I have to go to Google and find the Schmoogle images. So I was not. I was taking the high road. I'm here to. Yeah, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to scrape Google. And so it went. I did it. I put it up online on 2005. Funnily enough, several industry blogs were pretty interested. Search Engine Watch, search engine optimization blogs, and the writers wrote about it. Library workers were very interested in the way it facilitates access to different, let's say, diversity of sources of information. Here it is. And so I maintained it for years. It was a hack. So this meant that every time Google were changing their HTML. I had to recode to fix it. And as Google's monitoring of automated access grew better and better, I had to work around it. And I was kind of under the radar. They were smart enough not to send me any cease or desist letter, or to take any legal action. And what also was interesting, that at some point this became a way for Chinese citizens to access the great big Google, because again, Schmoogle was under the radar, and therefore the Chinese firewall did not detect it as problematic. And at least at some point, and at some point, I think it was in 2013 or 14, I couldn't maintain it anymore. It was all, I was not funded. It was like a one person, one woman operation. Work, family life, exhibitions. It was, and it was really becoming too much of a challenge to maintain this. I took it offline and only left some image explaining what it was, and went on with my life. In 2017, I think it was Tal Erez, approached me with some budget and asked if I could revive it. And since I was already pretty busy by then, I sort of hired a programmer, an ex-student of mine with whom I was in very good terms. And it was clear that it was impossible to hack the system anymore. We had to go legit. And legit means that we had to connect the Schmoogle API, to the Google API, and buy results. What does it mean? That if I want to display the results of Google on my site or somehow, I have to pay them for every 25 results that they are giving me. I have to pay them a few cents, but when you do it in bulk, it becomes super expensive. And this reality, where I have to pay Google in order to see the way the world really is, and not only through the Google goggles, appeared completely distorted. And I realized that a Schmoogle has to leave the museum, to leave the confines of the art world, and enter the market, raise a real debate where things are happening. And Schmoogle in the museum so far had little to no effect, completely ineffective. It was because in the museum it is perceived as an aesthetic comment, aesthetic philosophical critique. But no, it has to become a reality. It has to become, it is a real functioning, let's say, application, a real functioning platform, and it has use value actually. And it has to become a viable alternative that exists in people's mind as, okay, I don't trust Google. I want to see other things. I want to see what Google is hiding from me. I am not going to go through all the effort I have to go through in order to reach page 9. I'll try Schmoogle. I see what it brings. And so I gathered a team of pretty brilliant artists I've been working with over the years. Yoav Lifshitz, Gabi Ben Moshe, Carmel Barnea Brezner Jonas, and a couple of ex-students of mine, Omer Shach, and Carmel, and the brilliant designer, Ben Schnapper. And we were discussing what would be the best way to exit the museum. So I was suggesting maybe a performative act. Maybe we do, like a public movement or the yes men. And then the kids, the team said, no, we are not. We are in 2000. We are no longer in the 90s. We are not doing another yes man. We have to become the real thing. Schmoogle has to become a startup. Has to go the startup way, as a business venture and as an artistic process. And off it went. We started working as a startup, learning the startup speech, learning the way the startup ecosphere is working. And it was really, it still is, yeah, a wild ride. It was completely crazy. I started to talk to people whom I know, who know people I know, who know people I know, who people I know. And I discovered some interesting facts about it. That the land of chutzpah and innovation is pretty, how should I say, does not like to go so much outside of the box as they like to portray themselves. One of the more interesting anecdotes was that, yeah, in one big event, big congregation of innovative thinkers, out of the box thinkers, pretty big names in the industry, where one of them was giving some sort of informal lecture to a delegation from overseas, telling them, yes, Israeli chutzpah enables us to think outside the box. We come up with solutions nobody would think of. And I was listening to him, and I was thinking, let's challenge him with that. So in the line queue for dinner, I started talking to him, and hey, look, I really enjoyed listening to you. Can I tell you about what I'm doing? And I tell him about Schmugel, and I see his face like fall down, and he doesn't know how to react. And then he says, "Okay, I'm sorry, it's idiotic," and went away. And then the whole rest of the event, we tried to avoid each other. And this is really one of the better, more appreciated person, and he was not the only one. Others were less blunt. But time went on, and I must confess that people warmed up more and more to the idea. And I started to apply to accelerator programs, even the most prestigious 8200, the elite intelligence. I passed the first two rounds, and I think I totally killed it in the live interview, but didn't make it to that one. And but I did make it to another accelerator program backed by the Ministry of Economy and Microsoft. And yeah, and then Shmugel started a 6 month accelerator program, uh, transforming it from artwork to startup. And one of the interesting things that came out of this accelerator was realizing that there are several art projects dealing with contemporary online culture, which is the ruling culture, that could actually pass as applications that they would have real use value. And the whole notion of art started forming up. So together with the same team, we started playing around with this notion of startup. Artist run startup, a startup that comes from an artistic idea and adapts the startup ideology. It wants to grow, it wants to make money, or it wants to have an exit. And an exit does not have to be always financial, it can be a symbolic exit. And an startup plays with all the regular concepts we have heard in the startup arena, but subverts them. And from there came Startup Nation. Am I short on running out of time?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I run fast. I'll go fast forward. And yeah, after we had the first one at the Transmediale Festival in Berlin, where we set up the Schmugel Schmampus for startups, we were supposed to open our own hub at the Mindrasha Gallery, but then Corona hit, and everything went dead. And we realized that this is a time more than ever that such solutions have to be brought into the table. As the Naomi Klein says, we have to come up with viable solutions in times of crisis. Sorry? Okay. So we said, okay, we're doing it on Zoom. We started and we built up a 6 week program, an accelerator program for startups, and we launched an open call. We received, I think, dozens of applications. We finally selected 5 of them, and we started putting up an amazing team, a team of mentors. And how should I say, Anut, the response was amazing. we reached Sunny Bates. She is the founder of Kickstarter and the board of Creative Time. Alice Black, the former director of Design Museum in London. Tatiana Bazzichelli, Network Disruption Lab. Amnon Deckel, who's running the UG Innovate program. Really amazing, real leaders, both from art and industry. If you're telling me something, I cannot hear you.
מפה.
Okay. I really can't hear you, so please make a sign if I need to, if and when I need to wrap it up. We launched the program 2 weeks ago. Sunny launched the first meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, Tsila, I think we should wrap it up because we have the next lecture of Dominique.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, for more, if you're curious to hear more, we have our website weMakeMoney.art, and we're actually already negotiating the second cycle with several institutions. So yeah, expand boundaries, insert chaos, kick whatever limits there are around us, and yeah, we're having the most important thing. We're having tons of fun.